Okay, finally, what we'll do is wrap up this section by showing you perhaps the most expedient way to go about graphing a parabola and also answering a max-min problem. This is the last part of this section. There's a lot to learn. Okay, a lot of what I covered is background. We're going to really now apply it to the homework. Okay, so that was background material to see why things work the way they do. This guy right here, where you complete the square, we did that last video, and we got information from it. I'm going to show you a faster way even than that. The homework sometimes says put it in this form, and you have to do it in my math lab or whatever. But on the test, I don't do that. I just go, here's a parabola, give me this information and graph it. I don't care how you do it. Okay? Short of using Desmos or a graphing calculator. Do it by hand. That's what I want. That's what you need to be able to do. Okay, so let's go down here, talk about the so-called vertex formula. And it comes from us by way of the quadratic formula. Okay, so I'm going to do maybe an example over to the side. So let's say we had f of x is equal to x squared minus 2x plus 3, or minus 3. Okay, and I wanted to know the x-intercepts. We're going to do this a little bit on another example, okay? The x-intercepts. Well, the x-intercepts are found when y is equal to 0. So I'll write here, I have to solve this quadratic equation. Does that make sense? Because when you're looking for the x-intercepts, you're looking to see where it runs across the x-axis. So it could be here. So that ordered pair would be, you know how to find an x-intercept. When I do it by factoring, which is, easy for us to do, we x minus 3 and x plus 1, we get x is negative 1 or 3. So here they are, negative 1, negative 3, or positive 3. Now, we know by now that if we were to graph that, that's a parabola. Why do we know that? Maybe we should make that clear. You see the x squared? That's why. Okay, if it's x squared, I tell calculus students, hey man, that's a parabola. They look at me dumbly. I go, it's got an x squared. And some of them, oh yeah. They forget this stuff, and they be careful not to if you're going into calculus. Okay, we also know, you guys, that do you see that it opens upward? That's something I didn't mention before. Let's go back up here. See how this is positive here? You see how this guy's positive? Okay, there's no multiplier in front there except for the number 1. So it opens, oh, I said it. It opens up. What do you know? I'll say it again. It opens up. And if we go here to this guy, it also opens up. You can tell by looking at the x squared. Okay. All right. So we know it opens up. And it's doing something like this. Where do you think the vertex is? That's the big question right now. Where is the vertex? Well, the vertex is straight down the middle. Absolutely perfectly in between those two guys. So in between those two guys, you can go, okay, what is that? All right. If we, instead of factoring, decided to go, oh, I've got f of x is equal to x squared minus 2x minus 3, and we set it equal to 0, and we use the quadratic formula instead, we would get x, these are the intercepts, mind you, x is minus b, so it's 2 over 2 times 1, a, which is 1, so 2 over 2, plus minus, remember this from a previous video? The radical over, and then 2, and inside the radical, what we got is like a, let's see, minus 2 squared is 4, minus 4 times a is 1 times a negative 3, and you get 1 plus or minus, all of that is really square root of 16 over 2, so you get x is 1 plus minus 4 over 2, which is 2. Okay? If you do 1 minus 2, if you do x equals 1 minus 2, then you get x is negative 1. That's this guy. If you go x is equal to 1 plus 2, you get 3, which is the other intercept. Wonderful, right? But what if we don't do plus or minus? What if we just stare at the first guy? That's 1. That's your vertex. That's your vertex. So in other words, this piece of the function or the formula right here, that's your minus b over 2a. That's your so-called vertex formula. And what I wrote over here is the vertex, remember, is an ordered pair. And that's the formula we would use to find the vertex of any guy, any parabola that's written in this form. So let's do this problem. This problem says, once you understand that and where the vertex formula comes from, it says find the vertex of anything, you can do it. So find the vertex of the parabolic curve g of x equals that. Let me rewrite it. So g of x, does that make sense? The vertex is in between the intercepts. Let's write that down. The vertex is right between the x-intercepts. That's why this formula works. So let's try it on this one. We've got g of x is minus x squared plus 8x minus 15. The vertex, and this is what I like to do to students, the vertex is an x and y, or x and g of x, whatever. What we're going to do is use the formula to figure out x. The x value is minus b over 2a, as if you're doing the quadratic formula. So for us, it's a negative. What is b? 8 over twice. What is a? Oh, it's a negative 1, surprise. So the answer is, what is that? 4. We know the vertex is at 4. The quadratic formula would say plus minus to find the intercepts, but we know the vertex is at 4. Are we done? No, we're not done. Because to find y is g of 4, and you just plug 4 in. So you get a minus, I'm looking right here, minus squared plus 8 times whatever, minus 15. And the number where the vertex is 4. We plug that sucker in, and we are getting, what is that, minus 16 plus 32 minus 15, I think all told is 1. So the vertex is 4, 1. And then you can commence to graphing, okay? All right. I find that to be the fastest way to find the vertex. If I'm in a hurry on a test, I just do part of the quadratic formula to find the vertex. So, down here is a problem that does the homework. This is homework stuff. It says, we can now graph parabolas with confidence. That's me talking to you guys. The homework asks you for all kinds of information about the function. And we're going to do this one example. In fact, it's the one we just did. Okay? But let's go in order. Part A, does it open up or does it open down? Where do you look? Do you remember that? Yeah, you look at the x squared term and it's negative, so it opens down. Yeah, I don't think they're going to, on my math lab, they'll let you put the little arc there, so you have to say choose down or something. Okay. Part B, something we haven't done in a while, it says find the y-intercept. Now remember, the y-intercept is a point, x, y, and for the y-intercept, that's where it runs into the y-axis. Well, that means x is 0. And if you plug x in is 0 into this guy, where are you? Let's write him down again. G of x is this guy, minus x squared. Well, if I plug in 0, that's 0. Plus 8x, that's 0, minus 15. Did you know that? So what is the y-intercept? Negative 15. It's always the constant. So the y-intercept is 0, minus 15. Done. C, what's the vertex? Oh gosh, that's where you go so we did that one. We got to go minus b over 2a and then plug. Well, yeah, it would be a kind of work that we just did. And when we did that work, we found 4, and then we plugged in for y to find 1, and then the vertex, therefore, and that was the previous problem that we just did, the vertex is 4, 1. Now, me personally, as soon as you have the vertex, I think I say that somewhere crazy. I forget where I said it. Somewhere I said, you got the vertex, you've got the world, okay? And we do. So I can't help but when I get the vertex, I just go over 4 and down 1. And I realize that this guy is opening downwards. So look where that's where your parabola is going to be, baby, right there. way down here somewhere is minus 15. I don't even know where it is. It's way far down. Way farther than I put it, because this is just 5. So it's off the map. In fact, can we put it there with scale? Sure we can. That's 5. This is 10. Maybe it's way down here, minus 15, pretend. Okay? We bring that guy down. So that's a point that you can connect. He's kind of far. Okay? I'll show you a different thing to help you with that. Part D is 5. Okay, this is something we're asked to do in the homework as well. The axis of symmetry. This video is going to be a little bit long because I'm going to fit the last problem in, which is a word problem, instead of making a new video. I just kind of, I don't know, cram it all together in this case. So, sorry. Well, the axis of symmetry, which I'll put in green, I guess. Remember, just draw a picture. It's a vertical line that drops through the vertex and straight through your parabola. And you write that as an equation. And you always just go, it's x equals, well, this number right there. It runs through the vertex, right? So x equals 4. So these are answers right here. Okay, so far. Part E, what are the x-intercepts? You know what you can do in this case? For the x-intercept, I'm going to show you something here. We're looking for the x-intercepts. Suppose you didn't start graphing, you just mechanically went after this. Well, then what you would normally do, if you remember what to do, is you would take your function, which is minus x squared plus 8x minus 15, set it equal to 0, and start solving. Now, you might even think about the quadratic formula to see about the x-intercepts. But if you have started graphing and you know it opens down, do you think it's going to hit the x-axis for the x-intercepts? Up here, do we have points that it crosses? No, it's opening down. So watch what happens if you don't pay attention to that and you start solving. Okay, so x is square. Okay, whoops, doing it the old-fashioned way. It's going to be minus 8 over 2 times negative 1, so call it negative 2. Hey, you know what? That's our 4, right? Plus minus square root over minus 2. But watch what happens. Here we have 8 squared is 64 minus, but then it's going to be 4 times negative 1 times negative 15. Wow, that's a big number, isn't it? I didn't do this, so I'm doing it now. So we get really 4 plus minus, let's see, square root of 64 minus, okay, that guy is actually minus, and it's 40, and it's 65, isn't it? Is it? It's 40, it's 60. Did I do that wrong? I don't think so. Oh, I remember now. I did this before. Man, I don't know. I'm tripping, aren't I? Look at this. Did you see it too? That Weber, he graphed it wrong. I did. I'm embarrassed and I'm blushing right now. Look at that. It's 4, 1 up. So yeah, it's going to drop down and hit these points that we are about to find. This is minus 60 over negative 2. Okay? So we get x is equal to 4 plus minus, so square root of 4, which is 2 over negative 2. So really it's 4 minus plus, if you will, 1, and really it's going to go left and right. It's going to give you the 2x intercept. That's embarrassing. So we have we have actually 4 minus 1 is 3 comma 0, and then 4 plus 1 is 5 comma 0. And if I confused you, I'm sorry. I made a mistake. But the thing about the mistake was I was down here going, oh, it's not going to run into it. And I might not have checked it, and I would have maybe lost some points. Okay, but by checking it, going, what the heck? Oh, I made a mistake. Okay, so we're good now. And the last part, sorry about that, is, I'm not going to erase it and start over, no way, is going to be sketch it. Well, we are just about done, aren't we? And so the curve will be coming down this way. Okay, and eventually run through this point. Okay, pretty cool. Well, mistakes are made. That's why we have erasers. Okay, so the last thing to show you guys, that was really interesting. That was really interesting. I like mistakes too. Actually, I laugh about them. Okay, so here is actually an application, and this is what's really cool about parabolas is the following, okay? A company earns a weekly profit according to the function minus 1.2 x squared plus 180x minus 280, where x is the number of picnic tables sold. Okay, so it says determine the number of picnic tables that must be sold in a week to obtain the maximum profit. X is the number of picnic tables sold, and I guess, oh, I have a typo. I would say P of X here. Sorry, folks, I must not have typed that in. I was good until the end. Good until the end, but here we go. P of X is equal to this thing. Okay, so you have two variables. Let's call it P is equal to the profit, and X is equal to number of tables or picnic tables sold in a week, right? Or just sold. Now, what kind of curve is that? Let's write it again. See the square? That's a parabola. What else can you say about this parabola? Well, look at that. This parabola is opening downward. Okay, so what? Well, look at this. The vertex is up here. Yeah, so the vertex is the highest point on the curve. Yeah, I think I know what you're getting at. The vertex actually is where the max profit occurs. Everybody else, no matter how many picnic tables you sell, the profit is smaller. This is the magic number where you have the max profit. Okay, well, great. What do I do to solve this? Find the vertex. That's what you have to do. Whenever you see max or min in this chapter, you have to find the vertex. Now, before you get going, this is why I keep doing this. Here's X, and here's P of X, right? And it's an ordered pair. And we're looking for the vertex. And we know how to find the vertex. The vertex is found by doing X is equal to minus B over 2A. In this problem, you just grab the numbers. You go, it's minus and B over twice. The B in this case is 180. And downstairs, we've got a negative 1.2. Okay. All right. So we're getting, as a result of this, a value for X of, see the double negative? It's going to be a positive. They cancel. 180 divided by, say, 2.4. So I actually haven't done this problem, so go 180 divided by 2.4 to get 75. Put it in your table, 75. See how it's under X? Never mind that. Now to find Y, we go P of 75. So it's going to be minus 1.2 times 75 squared plus 180 times 75 minus 280 to find your profit. You ready? Let's go. So minus 1.2 times 75 squared plus real time, folks, 180 times 75, and then minus 280, and I got 6470. So P of 75 is 6470. So 6470 here, and we're done. No. Weber wants you to answer these questions. If you can answer these questions, and this is a good question on a test too, give you the information, answer the question. People go, I know how to find the vertex. I don't know what it means. Let's find out what it means. X is the number of picnic tables. P of X is the profit. You have the vertex in front of you. It's worth the work to find it. So it says how many picnic tables need to be sold in a week to obtain the max profit? It's right there. Sell 75 tables for max profit. That's one answer right there. And then the second answer is, what is the max profit? Max profit is, we're talking money, right? $, 6470. All right. Over $6,400 profit. I hope that's clear for you so that you're able to do the problems in this section. It's worth it. You're going to end up spending time here, okay? But by the end of the chapter, you'll know this, hopefully, really well. Thanks for listening to these videos on Section 5. Boy, there's a lot of information. Let's dwell on it. Let's think about it. All right, see ya.